who have misunderstood, or they don't get, is it good Kiswahili or English? There is nothing I will apologize for, because the clarity of mind I have is very clear. When you say finya, it means to press. And you say rudisha hawa nyumbani, tutawamalizia, is to take good care of them. So I don't see anything wrong, nor do I need to apologize. I've seen the hue and cry of a number of Kenyans and social media activists. Those are just busybody social media activists. I still repeat that any person, the integrity, the sovereignty of a country should and must be respected. Any busybodies activists who go to other countries to cause problems should be dealt in those countries through the legal procedures and law that are there within those jurisdictions. And I don't know where this habit of Kenyans, busybody activists from Kenya, can policy other countries like Tanzania, Uganda, among others. And that is why I said yesterday, the leadership of those countries, the President Samia Suluhu government and President Museveni's government, have a right to deal with any troublemaker that comes from Kenya. And they should do so, because they are protecting the peace, the cohesion, the unity and tranquility of those nations. We don't have any business as Kenyans to go and benchmark or police any countries across our borders, in as much as they should be busy doing their thing within this country. And I think we are taking for granted the space and freedom that we enjoy in this country. And I heard one of the abductees that was released from Uganda that he will live to appreciate some of these things. Because what you get over the borders is not as good than the freedom. You know, in this country, the Kenya's busybody activists have already gotten away with insults. They have gotten away with undermining, threatening authorities in this country. And we have found it normal. In other countries, it's abnormal. And therefore, those countries should deal firmly with any troublemakers that come from this country. And I want to ask Kenyans who are either in Tanzania, Uganda, and across the country, when you go there, do what you want to do there. Do the business, marry if you can't, be married there if you can't, do business, read. If you are a student, go and do the education there. But for heaven's sake, stop meddling in the internal political affairs of those countries. And those are the principles of reciprocity in international diplomacy. The diplomacy levels are there. If any Kenyan has a problem with how the affairs of those countries are being run, there is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They can petition the parliament. They can petition the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to raise those issues, but they don't need to go there and interfere. You know where I come from? They say we share the sunshine, but we don't share houses. They say in my local language, so that is the principle that people should and must adhere. And I will not retract my statements, because those statements are legal, lawful, moral, and right in any given society. It was just a cautionary statement to the busybody activists. Go to those countries, do business, read, study, marry, get married, do business, bring what you want to bring, but for heaven's sake, don't interfere. And those presidents, the governments of Museveni, the government of Samia Suluhu Hassan, must and should deal with any troublemakers. Because what is important to those countries is their unity. There can be no human rights without peace. There can be no development without peace. Those are, I really wanted to make that issue. And as a leader in this country, I've observed this trend for quite some time. And even in Kenya, if the activists, busybody activists from Uganda or Tanzania, who want to bring chaos and trouble in Kenya, the Kenyan government must deal with them. Because you are not a Kenyan citizen. What business would you be discussing Uganda affairs and you are not a citizen of Uganda? You are not a citizen of Tanzania. Those are what we call bad manners. And those bad manners, I want to thank President Museveni for dealing with those bad manners and Samia Suluhu Hassan. And in fact, also to thank them for releasing those activists to their families. but also to thank them for disciplining. I think as a country we are failing discipline, so it is good that they did discipline them. I hope they will reform, re-engage. They have a right, this right of freedom of association, speech, is enjoined within the Kenyan borders. But when you move to other countries, those rights are no longer there. You became an alien, you became a foreign citizen. Just like the Ugandan activists or Tanzanian activists cannot come to Kenya and start demonstrating. And I think we thank President Museveni for listening to Kenyans and the Kenyan government to release those activists back to home. But we hope, even the other day we had activists who were arrested and released from Tanzania. We hope these lessons they can learn. Let them ply their thread here in Kenya, because the freedom is too much. Let them do that. I think chenye nataka kusema kwa Kiswahili ni ya kwamba yale nilisema jana kule Nandi sitabadilisha. Nilisema kwa njia iliyo wazi na ni kisheria. Na ya kwamba kuna wanaharakati ambao wako na tabia mbaya na mbovu, ambao wanatoka nchi yetu ya Kenya, wanaenda nchi ya Tanzania, wanaenda nchi ya Uganda, wanaenda kuleta purukushani, wanaenda kuleta vita, wanaenda kufanya protest, wanaenda kuingilia masuala ya nchi nyingine. Hiyo ni kukosa heshima, hiyo ni kuharibu kidiplomasia ya nchi yetu ya Kenya na nchi zijazo. Mimi nakubaliana kuna Wakenya ambao wengi wao wameenda kusoma. Kuna wenye wameenda kufanya biashara, kuna wenye wameenda kuolewa, wameoa. Tufanye hizo zote, lakini mambo ya kuingilia siasa za nchi hizo zikome. Na nafikiri wale wanaharakati ambao waliwachiliwa kule Tanzania na wale wamewachiliwa juzi pale Uganda wamejifunza, wamelearn from those bad manners ambayo walijaribu kuchukua katika nchi hizo. So na hata sisi hatutarajii wanaharakati kutoka Uganda ama Tanzania wakuje Kenya waanze kuingilia siasa za Kenya. Haikubaliki kidiplomasia. Kama unataka kwenda kufanya siasa ya Uganda, wewe enda chukua passport ya citizenship ya Uganda, uraia ya Uganda ama uraia ya Tanzania, wewe enda kaa huko fanya siasa za nchi hizo. Na nafikiri Kenya tumekuwa na bahati kwa sababu tuko na uwazi wa kidemokrasia ya kufanya hii siasa na unajua wanaharakati wa Kenya wamezoea kutusi watu, kuharibu majina, kufanya. Hiyo haipatikani ukishatoka nchi ya Kenya, mambo ni tofauti kule nchi za nchi zingine. So mimi nataka kusema ya kwamba kusema finya ni watu hawaelewi Kiswahili. Finya tu ni kufinya. Kama vile unafinya ugali, unafinya nini? Finya inatumika katika wale wanaelewa Kiswahili. Na kusema wakifika nyumbani tutawamalizia ni kuhakikisha wamerudi nyumbani, wamehakikisha wamefuata kwa njia ya sheria, wapewe matibabu kwa wale ambao wameumizwa, na labda wa record statement. Na ikiwa mtu wako na ile shida na siasa ama au governments are run kule Tanzania na Uganda, walete petition katika bunge la Seneti ama la kitaifa, na waandikie petition serikali ya Kenya kupitia wizara ya masuala ya nchi za kigeni, ndio au register their displeasure at that level. Lakini mambo ya kwenda pale na kuingilia siasa